Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here with us at USA Global TV and Radio. In case you haven't heard, this is the place to come to for world-class global education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm your host today. My name is Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here with you for our show, which is You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. And our topic is Ostomy Warriors, Sculpting Strong Bodies. So if you've watched us before this particular show, you know the star of our show is Justin MIRIGLIANI, and he is an incredible person. He's an entrepreneur. He founded his own charity. He's an avid this. I could go on and on and on. He's strong as can be. Don't get in a fight with this guy because he's so strong. The weights that he can lift. He's lost an extensive amount of weight. He's an incredible father and he's a dear friend. Let's welcome him to the program. Hello, Justin.
Hey, Dr. Jacalyn. How do I follow that up? Wow.
I'm just so
Thank you very much.
amazed.
I appreciate it.
Listen, you've earned it. I'm just amazed at what you've been able to accomplish. When we run the video that you shared with us that we're going to run at the end of the show, and I see the transformation of how you looked and how you look, it's absolutely incredible. It's like two different people, but it's the same person with the beautiful heart.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You have the same heart, so you would know.
Oh, well, thank you. I wish I'd lost the weight that you did. And I was like,
you didn't have to. I had to.
Well, you look great. And your persistence against all odds, against everything that you've gone through in your life, it's just so admirable. So thank you for fighting the good fight.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah,
so,
good.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say we're celebrating today people all over the world who have ostomies, people who have made a choice, a decision of how they're going to live their lives. It's a decision that many people can't understand, actually. And you are a role model and an example. Can you please share a little bit about your health journey that led you to where you are today with the ostomy?
Yeah, when I was almost 28, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. In fact, I was diagnosed just a couple of days before, 2 days before my 28th birthday. And it was a long road. It was not easy. As anybody with IBD knows, it's very, very difficult. A lot of pain, a lot of weight loss, a lot of anemia, trips to the hospital, kidney stones, feeding tubes, NG tubes, you name it. Tremendous weight loss, 50-pound weight loss in a bad way to go from a weightlifter. And at the time I was 195 pounds, wound up in the hospital 3 months later at 147. Blood pressure was something like 90/46 or something like that. It was really low. Just nothing was going right at all. And the doctors got me back up and going again, but it took a lot. There was a lot of medication. 11 days in the hospital. There were a lot of tests, colonoscopies for the 12 years that I had colitis, once a year. And I never went into remission the whole time. Had to wear adult diapers for 12 years because never knew if I would lose control or not. There was no way to know. Got married wearing a diaper. Did QVC for 2 years. Nobody would know that I was wearing a diaper using while I was on QVC. It just that had to be protected at all times because you just didn't know when you had control of your bowels or you didn't. And I was taking a lot of powerful medications, and they made me tired. They did their job for the most part, but never really fixed the problem. It was a band-aid. There was always inflammation. My blood work was pretty good, but the colon itself was not. And I had my last colonoscopy in 2015, in June of 2015, on a Friday. And on Monday night, the doctor called and left a message and said, have Justin call me tomorrow. And I knew that wasn't good because the results usually didn't come back that fast. So I was pretty concerned about what it would be. And the next morning I called and I had to wait for him to get done with the patient. And I remember I was on pins and needles the whole time and wondering what was going to go on. And he called back and he said, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you have high grade dysplasia, which is a form of highly precancerous cells in your colon. And he said, we're going to have to remove your colon. And I remember trying to bargain with him, like, can you just resect it? Can you just take out part of it? He said, no, because we don't know where it is. And so that was the beginning of really a transition of how life was going to be different. It was extremely painful at first. I remember a lot of crying, a lot of pounding on the bed. I flipped over a queen size mattress out of anger, just calling my wife, calling my mother, trying to find some peace somehow. It wasn't good. But I do remember my doctor saying at the end of the phone call, because when I was talking to him, I was asking him a million questions at rapid speed, and he said, "Calm down." He said, "You're going to be okay, man." So I remember Dr. George Prieto from Jefferson Hospital, and I'll never forget that. That really, as upset as I was and as worried as I was when he said that did help. So I went the whole summer. I had a few weeks to decide what I wanted to do. If I wanted to have the colon removed, and did I want some extensive tests done to see if I had Crohn's or colitis, or where the colitis was, where the precancerous cells were, and if they were in the wrong spot, then I couldn't have what we call a reversal and have an internal bag, which would have been a J pouch, where I would have used the bathroom like everybody else. That was a possibility, but problem was we would have to really pinpoint where those precancerous cells were, because they have to leave a little bit of the mucosa left from your rectum if they're going to do that J-pouch surgery, and you could get cancer there. And the unfortunate thing with that is if you do get cancer there, pardon me, they won't see it until it's too late. It'll have spread already, and that's the only way they'll find it. Excuse me. Fighting asthma and allergies for the last, I don't know how many months. But in any event, that's what he said, that it's really, something that you could decide that you want to try, and we could do all these tests, or you could go with the gold standard. And I said, well, what's gold standard? And he said, you could have your colon removed. And so I went with that, after a lot of discussion with family and friends, doctors, psychologists. I decided that was the best move. And yeah, I was scared. I thought that was going to be the end of my life. And I remember I went my wife and I went to the surgeon's office, and Dr. Michael Harris, who was at the time the preeminent colorectal surgeon in the world. He's retired now, but at the time he was. I think he actually studied under Dr. Crone, and he said to me, what are your fears? We talked for like 2 hours. He really took his time, drew everything, gave me all the options, made me make a decision whether I wanted permanent ileostomy or if we wanted to go through a battery of tests to see if I could possibly have the J pouch. And by the time we were done, I knew that I needed a permanent ileostomy. And I said, well, I'm 40 years old now. My life is pretty much over. I've had colitis for 12 years, and now I'm 40. I'm going to have a bag for the rest of my life. I'm still pretty young. And, I said, other than dying, this is the worst thing that could have happened. And he said, why? And I said, well, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm a weightlifter. I'm a hockey player. And he said, and you're still a weightlifter and you're still a hockey player. And he said, Rolf Benershka, who has now become a very good friend of mine, and hopefully will be doing some of the shows with us. And he started his own ostomy support group, which is incredible. I'd like to highlight that someday. He said Ralph Benershka kicked in the NFL for 7 years with an ostomy. And that was the first time that I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe it's possible to have a life with an ostomy. If he could kick in the NFL for 7 years, then I could go and do what I do. And I had the permanent ileostomy done in 2015, and it's been pretty much smooth sailing. I do have a hernia, but so do almost 100% of ostomates. So, you know, the way I looked at it was you could get a hernia coughing, you get a hernia sneezing, you get a hernia laughing, you get a hernia standing too long. So to me, it was worth getting a hernia lifting weights. I'm sure that didn't help, but and playing hockey and things like that. But at the end of the day, unless it causes problems, it really is not a big deal. It's really a non-issue. So I made the decision that if I want to get a hernia anyway, I'm going to do it and have fun doing it. So that's
Justin, can
yeah.
you yeah, thanks so much for sharing that as always. I love how transparent you are. For people who don't know what a hernia is, can you tell us and then also say how you developed a hernia as an ostomy or ostomate? How does that work?
So it's called the peristomal hernia. It's a hernia, it's part of the small intestine where the stoma is that comes out. It makes like a bubble almost. It looks like a baseball or something like that. Or a breast, a woman's breast. You might say it looks like that. And it's a bulge that comes out of the stoma area instead of it being really flat. Now, how I got it probably was playing hockey at first, and then probably worsened it a little bit with heavy weightlifting. Um, but at the same time, it hasn't really gotten worse since about 2017. So I'm not really that concerned about it. I go about every 8 months to the new surgeon up in Inglewood, New Jersey, Inglewood Hospital, Dr. Anna Saror, and she checks it and she said, look, it's not a big deal if it's not causing problems. And she said it's not gigantic. She said it's just a small bulge. And she said most ostomates, if not 100%, will get one. It's just a matter of when. And she said, live your life. And that's the same thing that Dr. Harris said, Mickey. He said, live your life. And the hernia, uh, there could be complications down the road later on, but not necessarily. Most of the time, there's nothing needed. And they do have surgeries for it that you can take. The problem is the surgeries now are not, there is a high level of recurrence. So it's not a minor surgery. It's called the sugar baker technique, where they go in laparoscopically and put a mesh on it. But the odds of it coming back are a lot. They're pretty high, maybe up to 30 or 40%. So um, you have to decide. I'm just going to just go with it the way it is. And then if for cosmetic reasons, if I want to do it, I could do it. But you're down for 8 weeks after that surgery. So that's a lot. That's a lot of time not being able to lift anything or do anything. So yeah, to me, it's not worth it right now.
I appreciate you explaining that for those who are watching now or later and are asking, what is a hernia and how does it impact an ostomy potentially? So, a question I have for you is we're going to look at some photographs, but you're a strong man. I mean, you are really physically strong. And to go through what you went through and what you're going through, that takes a strong mind. And you've had challenges. You've been very honest here that you've had times when you were depressed, you had times when you were anxious. So going through a life-altering experience like that, how is it that you are so physically and mentally strong against all odds?
I think that the physical strength it's just something that I always wanted as a kid. I was not really physically strong as a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and that's when I decided I wanted to be bigger and stronger, and I really, really went into the gym and worked out hard and got much bigger and much stronger. And then through college, got bigger and stronger. And then as I became an adult, I'm almost 50 now, and uh, I'm not as strong as I was when I was 252 pounds. I was stronger then, but now at 210 pounds, I'm in much, much better shape aesthetically and cardiovascularly, and still bench pressing well over 300 pounds, probably about 325 instead of 385. So, yeah, I had to sacrifice a little bit of strength to gain cardio and to gain some stamina and things like that, and be more aesthetic. But um, it was a good trade off. I think as I get older, it doesn't matter. I mean, what's the big difference between whether you bench 400 or you bench 350? And I would still someday like to hit 400, but we'll see if that comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's a goal, to become the first ostomy to that I know of to hit that level. So um, mental strength, it comes and goes. I do have depression, anxiety, OCD, and it's not easy. It's there are good days and there are bad days, and sometimes the bad days can seem to outnumber the good days. But I guess you just got to get up and keep going. It's easy to stay down and not get up and not fight back, but if you do that, then you give up. And I got a second chance, so why give it away, right?
For sure. And our topic today is Ostomy Warriors sculpting strong bodies. So I'd like to share a photograph of you, but before we do, can you give some backstory so people know what it is they're looking at and the significance of it?
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, again, I was 252 pounds. I was way out of shape because of depression, and I just didn't care anymore. I was eating like anything I wanted. I was drinking tons and tons of sugary drinks, and I wasn't going to the gym anymore. I was like, whatever, and I just couldn't motivate myself to do it. And then finally I said, this has got to stop. And I went on a tremendous diet. I'm not sure if it's safe for everybody to do what I did. It was pretty dramatic. But in 9 months, I lost over 50 pounds, while maintaining muscle mass. And then I went to gain some back of the muscle mass that I lost with some of the weight. I had a really big belly. I had a dad bod, I guess you would call it. I called myself Oliver Hardy. If anybody knows Laurel and Hardy, because I look like Oliver Hardy. My head was real big and my belly was sticking out real far. And I would never been like that in my life, never. And I just, when I saw the picture, I mean, I was devastated. And I said, I got to work this. And I really never worked abs. I had pretty good abs in college. I really had some decent abs in college. And I didn't work abs. I just worked mostly body, upper body and lower body. But when you lift weights, a lot of times the abs get a workout with it, no matter what you do. But this over the last few months, I've put in a lot of time into the abs as well as the rest of the body. And for the first time in my life, I have abs and obliques. I never had obliques before. I had a six pack before in my college years, but never had obliques. And now with the bag, even with the hernias, I have the six pack and the oblique. So it's exciting for me. And again, at 49 years old, almost 50, it was unlikely that was going to happen, and it's exciting. So I'm pretty happy about it.
Well, now we're going to do the big reveal. Dun,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. Here we go.
Yeah.
Woo!
See, if you look on the sides, you can see the striations. That's where the
Yes, here.
obliques are.
Yes.
That's where the obliques are. I never had that. I did a lot of work on that. I don't know how well you can tell if you can even see where the hernia is, but it's right above the bag. You can see there's a little bit of a
The
bulge up
red.
there.
Is it the red above the
Right above the red. That's where the hernia is.
okay.
So it's not huge. It's just a hernia that sticks out. In fact, it almost looks like a muscle. It almost looks like it's just a bigger muscle than the other side. But um, that uh, took the most work, I think, out of everything to try to get, I had 20-inch biceps, which naturally is very difficult to do. You almost have to do steroids, but I got good genetics and I work hard, and that pays off. I mean, you got to there is a component of luck in there. Genetics makes a difference. I mean, there are some people who could spend the same amount of time in the gym and not grow 20-inch arms, and there are people who could grow 22-inch arms and work out less than I do. But people ask me sometimes, do you do steroids? Do you do any TRT? Do you do any? All I do is protein. I don't even do creatine. I just do 200 grams of protein a day, and that's the result. I mean, I got pretty lucky with that. But I really work my stomach hard, and your core is a big part of strength. It drives everything, especially overhead presses and someday I'll do some videos for you of different lifting techniques that I do to get into shape. But the stomach exercises, they are everybody has a six pack. You just don't see it if you have fat over top of it. That's all it is. Everybody has stomach muscles, so it's not like I created these stomach muscles. What I did was burn the fat, and then I worked on growing the muscles and making them bigger so that they would be more definable. And that's really all I did.
Well, for our audience members who are not aware, obliques are very difficult. I think there's two sets of obliques on each side. And as you know, I go to Solid Core every day, not a paid spokesperson, but part of the workout routine is the obliques. And it has
Yeah.
to be, if not the hardest, the second hardest after core. And people don't typically say, I'm going to go to the gym and work on my obliques. It's kind of a forgotten muscle group. And so I see the definition that you have there. That takes a ton of work. In addition to having a giant, giant biceps and chest and back. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I appreciate it. The obliques, to be honest with you, what I did was a lot of I had the machine that you use to do the tricep pull downs. I just put it in probably like 65 pounds, so not super, super heavy, and just held the weight back here and then just did crunches on the bench on the left, center, and then right, and then back to the left, center, and right. I would do 50 of them in a row. And then I would do the rest of my workout. I would go bench press. And then after I was resting from bench press, I would do another set of the stomach exercises. And then I would do another set of bench press. And so I didn't dedicate a day to my stomach, to the obliques or to the six pack. I dedicated the time that I usually just rested between heavy lifting. When you lift heavy, you can take 5 minutes in between sets. There's this myth that people say, oh, well, if you should only wait 30 seconds between lifts. That's crazy. If you're bench pressing, close to max, if I'm bench pressing like 315 for a few reps, 2 or 3 reps, that's about where I'm gassed at that point. So I'm not going to get that right away in 30 seconds. I need about 5 minutes to be able to get back to that again. So I use that 5 minutes to work the stomach, and that's all I did was to throw that in. Cardio, I do. I know there's arguments about cardio because if you want big muscles, cardio can be your enemy because it burns calories that the body needs to turn into muscle. So there is a trade-off here. But you got to remember, I was coming from 252 pounds of a lot of fat, and I was able to. I did intermittent fasting. It allowed me to work. I worked out, fasted, and that's what burned the weight the fastest. The weightlifting while I was fasted, because the body had no other source but the fat to try to burn. It didn't have any glucose. It didn't have anything in my system to burn, so it had to burn the fat, and that's what happened. And on a side note, which is crazy, I just went to the dermatologist the other day, and I have a lipoma on the back of my neck. It was a giant lipoma, actually. They call them a giant lipoma, and I had surgery on it a few years ago. and it grew back, unfortunately. And a year ago, it was giant again. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I went through surgery, and now I gotta go through surgery again to get this thing taken off. And when I lost the weight, I lost most of lipoma. It's still there, but it's like a little tiny bump. I mean, it's barely noticeable when it was a hump before. Uh, and I asked the dermatologist, this past Friday, I said, how did that happen? I said, I read everywhere that you can't lose a lipoma by losing weight. And his literal answer was, I'm only a doctor, ask God.
I love that. That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
thank God that it happened. That's beautiful. It
Yeah. I mean,
surely is.
I couldn't even begin to tell you how it happened, but it happened. He says it's not
Well,
supposed to happen, but
Well, we're thrilled for you that it did. And as you know, I'm an ulcerative colitis patient for I think a 35 year celebration. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
I really appreciate how you shared earlier that when you got married, you were wearing a diaper and other critical times in your life. And the same for me, right? I'm always wearing big loose dresses. Nobody knows, but it gives a person, you don't need it anymore, but it gives a person, a patient, a sense of being
Mhm.
a human being and not having that desperate feeling that I've got to make it to a bathroom. Please, God, let no one be in there. Let there be high ceilings. Let there be loud music play. Like all the things that we think about, because of the situation, let alone being super strong. So I just want to commend you and just tell you how much I respect you because I've been working out my whole life and I know how hard it is because I'm still sick a lot of the time. And the choice that you made has given you freedom, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about that for people who are out there trying to make a decision. Somebody like me who decides to say, okay, I'm going to be sick for 6 months of the year. And you say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going to move forward. What can you share to encourage other people to really think about doing what you did?
Well, you got everybody's got to make that decision for themselves, but you got to weigh. I get people who call me all the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, and they'll email me or they'll text me or people I don't even know from around the world, and they'll ask me questions like, I'm about to have an ostomy. What does this entail? What's my life going to be like? Is it, am I done playing sports? And the biggest fears that people have is number one, people will find me disgusting. I'm going to smell. Well, you can't smell it. It's inside your body, just like it's in the bag. But people who have a colon have it in their colon, so it's not like it's that different in that regard. You empty the bag. When the bag's empty, it's empty. I mean, there's nothing in it. So it's not like it's wide open. So and when the bag is full, you can't tell through clothes that it's full, and it's snap shut on the wafer, so there's no smell coming from it at all. It's impossible to detect anything. In fact, in a lot of ways, people who don't have a rectum and don't have um, well, the colon wouldn't matter, but not having an anus or a rectum, uh, probably smell better at the end of the day because there's no sweat as much down there and there's no wiping that's done. I've seen studies on how people don't wipe enough or well enough, and there's residue that. So somebody with a bag, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, there's no residue of anything. It's just you dump the bag and it's gone. There's no wiping involved at all. It's just completely gone. So the people who think, oh, I'm going to be disgusting, I'm going to smell. No, you're not. No one's going to know. They're not going to smell it at all. The other fears that I get from people why they won't do it is it's going to be ugly. Well, you saw a picture of it. It looks like a hot water bottle. Does it really look that bad? I don't think so. I mean, that's it. It just looks like a hot water bottle. So it's there's really nothing there that's disgusting. It just looks like a bag. Now, another question that comes up is what happens during intimacy? You cover it. There's a cover that goes over top of it where it's zipped up inside the cover, and there you go. There's a picture of it. That's exactly what it would look like during intimacy. So during sex or any other kind of intimacy, it has no effect whatsoever. It's not felt. There's a woman with a bag with an ostomy. She has no, obviously, I don't know her sex life. I don't know her intimacy life, but my guess is that she has a normal sex life, a normal life of intimacy, because again, you can't see anything. And all the worry of that is just non-existent. So that's another fear, a lot of guys especially contact me, women not as much, but a lot of guys will contact me and say, I'm single and no girl's ever going to date me because I have a bag. That's not true at all. I mean, and then again, if she doesn't, do you really want to date her anyway? I mean, does it matter? I mean, if that matters that much to her, then find somebody else, because someone's going to find you attractive for other reasons. If that's the deal breaker, then what's I don't think you wanted that relationship in the first place. So um you can't worry about things like that. Again, the hernia, you're going to get one. So just know you're going to get one, and hopefully you don't for a long time. And if you do, you do. That's another reason why people sometimes say, "Oh, I'm not going to get the surgery because I'll get a hernia." You will. You will get a hernia, but you will get it eventually. And if you get it right away, you get it right away. And there are surgeries to take care of it. It's not simple. It's a more involved surgery, but it's rare. You Most of the time, these hernias don't need to be touched at all. They don't need to be those surgical requirements, unless they become entrapped or entangled, and then, of course, they call it incarcerated. Then you would need to have surgery. People worry about blockages. Chew your food well. If you chew your food well, drink a lot of water, you're not going to have that many blockages. I get some sometimes, but not enough to have to go to the hospital. I've been to the hospital once with a blockage in all these years, 9 years, one time where a blockage put me in the hospital, and they had to uh, just let me work it out. Luckily, I didn't need surgery to have it cleared, but that's another fear that people have. Will I be able to eat what I want? It depends. I mean, the person, I personally can eat anything and not get a blockage. I mean, I eat broccoli like crazy, and I don't get a blockage. I eat nuts, and I eat quinoa, and I eat all kinds of stuff, and I don't get blockages. Dehydration, people worry about that because your colon drinks for you. Your body actually, your colon is what absorbs water and drinks for you. So you have to be careful of dehydration. So when I'm working out, I'm drinking constantly to make sure I don't dehydrate. That also put me in the hospital one time. I dehydrated because I had a stomach virus. When I was having diarrhea with the bag, wasn't a big deal. The bag was catching it, but I had to keep emptying the bag every 20 minutes. And eventually I couldn't drink enough water to stay hydrated. So I wound up passing out. I collapsed from dehydration, and had to go to the hospital and get an IV for 2 days. And but I mean, these things are rare. They're not. They don't. At least in my case, they've been pretty rare. So
Well,
yeah, I get the fear, but most of the fears are unfounded. You're not going to smell. You're not a freak. You're not going to never have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You're not going to never have sex. You're not going to um, be unable to ski or ice ski. You're not going to be able to. You could rollerblade. You could lift weights. I mean, there really is less to be afraid of than you'd think.
Justin, I just want to share with our audience the fact that from what you've had done and the liberation and the freedom that you have, I've had this, as I said, 35 years. There's not a single day in my life when I don't worry when I leave the house, even in remission, that I'm going to have an accident. And
Sure.
everywhere I go is calculated. Where are the bathrooms? How many are there? Like, I'm never going someplace where they have one bathroom with one of those round knobs that you're going to turn and people are waiting in line. No, it has to be like a whole thing of bathrooms with a
Mhm.
high ceiling, with music. And it's really, I've allowed it to take over my life. And I know there are commercials out there on from the pharmaceutical companies about how it does take over your life. And I just am so proud of you because you're so liberated and you have the liberation that I don't have. And I really admire you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but it's a choice. I mean, the liberation. I didn't have a choice. Would I have chosen the bag? No, I probably wouldn't have if I didn't have the high grade dysplasia. But looking back on it, I wish I would have chosen it a lot earlier than I did. I wish I didn't live 12 years with colitis and have to do what you're talking about, or have to go on a 2 hour drive and have to stop in a bathroom every 15 minutes. Because you're never done. It
Mm.
comes back in waves. It's just and it's like it's kind of strange. I was telling a friend the other day, I don't, it's almost like I can't remember what it's like to have to urgently run to the bathroom. I don't remember what it feels like anymore because I don't ever have that feeling. I'm not saying I never get a stomach ache or I never get stomach pain from gas or whatever, like anybody else would. But I don't have any urgency to go at all because I don't have anything down there anymore. The rectum, the anus, and then the colon are all gone. So um, urination is the only thing that really, and I don't have any problem with that. I can hold it, so it's not a big deal. So I could drive 7, 8 hours if I had to and not hit a bathroom at all. Whereas if I took a 7 or 8 hour drive when I had colitis, that would probably be a 12-hour drive because there would be so many stops and so many bathrooms just to get through it. And plus,
Yeah.
you got to worry about what you eat before you go out. That's the other thing. I don't worry about it. I eat what I want and I go out.
Yeah, it's true. I'm getting ready to head over to the UK and I started panicking today. I'm thinking, what was I thinking when I booked this trip? How am I going to be on a plane that long? Like all these things start coming up. But what I want to focus on as we're coming towards the end of our show already, what maintenance items are there? Meaning, do you have to go and get a tune up every now and then? Do you get a new bag? Do they have designer bags? How does that work?
They do.
Go ahead.
I don't get them, but they have designer bags. I'll tell you, when I first had the surgery, they gave me a clear bag, which I was like, this is not going to happen because I don't want to look at it. I mean, I'm like anybody else who wants to look at poop. So I was like, that will not happen. So I change my wafer probably if I work out a lot, if I'm sweating a lot, every 3 days I have to change the wafer. The wafer just kind of goes on your skin. It sticks to your skin and it's got ridges and the bag snaps on and that's how it stays together. And then Velcro holds the bag on or the bag closed. So I change the bag every day or every other day, usually every other day. And the wafer, if I don't sweat a lot and I don't work out a lot and I'm clean, I take a shower and and it's not really peeling or anything. I can go 10 days sometimes without even having to change the wafer. It's rare. And then there's sometimes I go 3 days and the wafer's starting to peel off and I have to put a new one on. But I mean, it's rare. People ask about, does it ever leak? Barely ever. If something happens to it, it can leak. Like when I was playing softball with my daughter, she hit a ball and hit me right there on the bag, and it cracked the plastic, and it started to leak. So yeah, I mean it can leak, but almost everybody has an accident in their life once in a while. I mean, everybody gets a stomach virus sometimes and has a little bit of a problem. I mean, it's not like it's that out of the ordinary for a regular person to have leakage because of illness or because of whatever. So, if it happens 3 or 4 times a year, is that a big deal? No, not really. No.
Justin, do you know, because we showed these photographs, let me bring them up again. Do you know for a woman, for example, can you wear Spanx and you have the Spanx over the ostomy? Is that
Yeah,
possible? Yeah.
absolutely. I wear a
Yeah.
bathing suit.
Okay.
Yeah, I wear a bathing suit. You can wear Spanx. You could. I wear I was a 43 waist last year, and now I'm a 34 waist, and you can't tell the
Woo!
difference. You can't see you can't tell where the bag is with my jeans on. There's no way to tell, and they're pretty tight. I mean, but so that's another fear. I'll never be able to wear good tight clothing again. Sure, you will. It's not that visible.
So
So
this cover that this man is wearing,
yeah,
this is what a person always or typically wears underneath their clothing, or do they just have the bag?
no, no. I don't even wear that at all. Only in intimate situations where you just don't want the bag to be visible, where that could interfere with intimacy. That's the only time that I would wear it. Now, when I work out, I wear a belt that is a much different belt. It's titanium, and it pulls in my hernia and it tucks it in and it holds it in place. But other than that, like right now, I'm not wearing anything but the bag and the wafer. When I go out to parties or whatever, all I wear is I don't wear anything underneath. I just wear underwear and pants, and that's it. There's nothing. So
Wow.
that belt, that stealth belt, is just for, aesthetic purposes during intimacy, and maybe if you want to use something for protection, you could use that. But no, I mean, I think most people don't even wear anything.
I love it. That's so liberating. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have an incredible video that I would love you to tee up about a special event that's coming up. And when you're talking about the event, who is it who could attend this event and what's the value they could get from doing so?
Well, we're going to have my charity is Checkmates Charitable Association, and we help people with uh, inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's and colitis, and also those with an ostomy. And that's where we raise our money. Nobody makes a penny from it, including me. We don't make anything as far as a salary or anything like that. It all goes to, in this case, this time to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, CHOP, they call it, and also Ralph Benershka's group, which is called Embracing Ostomy Life. And there are going to be NHL stars there. It's just going to be amazing. We're going to have, so long as everyone's subject to their availability. Right now, Mark Recchi's on board to come. NHL Hall of Famer he is, former Flyer. Brian Pratt is going to be there. Todd Fedoruk, Doug Crossman, Kevin Dineen, who's a Crohn's patient, might be there. He's going to try to make it. Rod Brindamore, former Flyer Hall of Famer, is going to be there. We're going to have a big party, and the rink seats 1,000. This is images of past events. We were covered in the news a few times. We've done this several times, but this one's going to be a big one. This one's going to have some celebrities there. We're going to have a 2-hour open bar after the game at the Yard Pub in Havertown, Pennsylvania. Rolf Inertia is going to be there, hopefully, if his schedule permits, and he's going to be a part of it. He's the kicker that made me believe that life was possible after an ostomy. And then the restaurant seats 700. So I want 700 people in that restaurant. I want to get that thing full. We also need not corporate sponsorship, corporate partnership. I'm not looking for donations. What I'm looking for is partnering with companies and helping them. I want to give them 4 to 10% ROI on what they give us as with some different packages. I'm offering free trainings for their staff. I'm offering not free tickets. They would have donated, but I'll give them tickets for their donation. Coverage on here on USA Global TV and Radio. In programs, they'll have some time to talk at the event. So if you're out there and you have a company and you want to be a part of it, we do need partnerships. It's very expensive to run this, so it would be great to have some partnerships.
Fantastic. By the way, for everybody who is looking, you probably saw Justin in 2014. Amazing when we did that shot with your bicep, and then a quick shot during the video on your website. So we're going to take a look at a video about this event and stay focused on all the aspects of the event, all the accolades that Justin and his charity have received, and how Justin looked before and how he looks now. It's tremendous. So here we go.
Hey everybody, I just want to tell you how thankful I am that you came out tonight and helped us out on a very special evening. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases, and they affect a lot of people, not only in the Delaware Valley, but all over the world. And hopefully we can find a cure someday.
Don't take Kevin Nolan here with you at the Checkmates versus the Flyers alumni. We had a great time this afternoon. Game was close, and we're all here for Checkmates Charities, which is the real reason that everybody's here, not only the players, but all the fans that were here. It was a great day, and we're really happy to be here.
It was fun to be out here at Northeast Skate Zone because the Checos were a pretty good team, and so we had a lot of fun with the charity. And it was good because they took it easy on us old guys. So we had a good time. So anytime you can do something for charity, and I know a couple guys on the other team, and just be on the rink, we all go have fun.
Good times go. I'm either gone in an instant or here to the bitter end. I never know what I've got.
I want to thank my family for all that they did to help me get through this, and there's a lot of planning that gets to get done. It has to get done. I want to thank Nick's Roast Beef and Cotton Avenue for all they've done. Dr. Prieto for saving my life and finding the disease and treating me for so long. And the Flyers organization for all they do to help us raise money every year. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
I'll see you when I'm gonna sleep. Baby, I'm ready to go. Baby, I'm ready to go. Baby, I'm ready to go.
I said this before, but you're half the man you used to be and twice the man you used to be. So bravo to you, my friend. That's it. People don't understand to put together a charity and then a charitable event. It takes a huge amount of time, effort, connections, money. It's unbelievable. And it's all to help other people.
You can't beat hockey players. They, out of all the athletes that are out there, they are the most generous athletes. They, with their time, with their money, with their everything, they're just amazing. I mean, guys that don't know me from anybody giving me their cell phone number. I mean, why would they? You know, I just tell them my story and say, look, we need help, and can you help? And if you can't, you can't. And I get it, and you get some no's, but you get way more yeses. Here's my cell number. Don't hesitate to call. Here's my email address. Email me anytime. I can't make any promises, but it's so nice that they can do that, and they don't have to. I mean, they can rest on their laurels. They've done a lot of great things, and for them to do that is just amazing to me. And I've had some of them over the house and had dinner with some of these guys, and they're just fantastic people. And I'm lucky that childhood heroes actually care and want to be a part of it.
Justin, you're truly an incredible human being. And I just want to share something as we close out. Sometimes people feel that in order to donate, they have to give 5,000, 1,000. They could give $50, they give $25, they give $10, they give $5. Can you kind of dispel the myth about my donation's not important because it's not enough? I can't compete with, the super wealthy.
It has nothing to do with that. And to me, it's the support that matters the most anyway. I mean, yeah, we need money, of course, because we want to help as many people as possible. But your $5 means a lot. And if 1,000 people give $5, it's $5,000. I mean, it adds up. So it's not, it's too little. I donate to a lot of things, and I don't donate hundreds of dollars to everything. I donate sometimes $10, sometimes 20, sometimes 5. But every little bit helps. It's going to cost us about $25,000 to $30,000 just to run the event. So think about that. We have to cover the cost, and then we have to go and make money on top of that to give to the charity. So, every little bit helps. So if you're willing, I have a Venmo set up. And I know in Europe Venmo doesn't work, but in the US it does. It's for Checkmates, and maybe we can find a way to. I'll put that up on the website soon. But tickets too will go on sale. The tickets, I'm keeping them really cheap, $70. Think about this: for $70, you can watch the game. You can hang out with these NHL players. There are going to be some other celebrities there on top of the NHL players. 2-hour open bar, a full buffet, and we could close the joint down. So we could be there from 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock in the morning. We're scheduled till 12, but she said, if you want to close it, close the place. So we can hang out there as long as we want to. And a lot of the NHL guys, they don't want to go home. They want to hang out, and they love talking hockey. And, I remember some of these nights, 3 or 4 people left, and I was always one of them, just listening to the stories and couldn't get enough. So if you're a hockey fan, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good time.
That's amazing. And I just want to share something. While you were speaking, I just donated $50. I just want to show people how easy
Thank
it is.
you.
It
I
literally took.
appreciate that.
How long were you talking that I just donated? I don't know, 20
45
seconds.
seconds? Yeah.
Yeah, I just donated $50. That's how easy it is. So people, please, here's the link. We have several links, but you can definitely go to this link. Give what you can. I mean, you see how dedicated Justin is. He's committed to this. He's been doing it for 10 years. 10 years while undergoing his own health issues, and never said once, you know what? I can't do it. I'm too this, I'm too that. No, he keeps doing it and doing it. So please give what you can. Go to the event, donate, reach out to Justin. Justin, what would you like to share as we close out for today?
First of all, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that, Dr. Jacalyn. What I want to say is it's an underfunded, very unknown disease. People think it's just a bathroom disease. It's not. It affects other parts of the body besides the bathroom part of it. So every little bit helps. And if you come out, and I promise you're going to have a lot of fun, especially if you're a hockey fan, and if you enjoy hanging out with celebrity hockey players and getting autographs and all that fun stuff. They sign everything. There's no charge for all that stuff. They get paid ahead of time to play and be a part of it. And, you don't have to pay $20 to get their autograph like you might have to at some other event. So come with us, be with us. And I said, I want 1,000 hugs at the rink, and I want 1,000 or 700 hugs at the restaurant, because that's how many people we could fit. So it's a celebration of life. It's not just a hockey event. It's not just an event for Crohn's and colitis and ostomy, but it's a celebration of just being alive.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. And I just want to point out that Justin and I met, I think in 2018, 2019, I'm not sure, through the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, which is an
Right.
incredible organization. They have a gala that's coming up, I think November the 2nd. And just think about it. You could reach out and make a friend like I have with Justin. Don't be afraid. Go out there, whether you're a patient or a caregiver or a family member or just somebody who actually likes to give back. Please do reach out. We're putting up again the link to make a donation. Justin, I love you, and I just appreciate you
Love
so
you
much.
too.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Jack. Always fun with you.
It's always a blast. All right, everyone, we're signing off for now, and we'll be back next week. So in the meantime, what are you going to do? Donate, donate, donate. So we just appreciate you. You don't even.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Justin.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.